Hello and welcome to another video tutorial brought to you by octotuts.com. Today we're going to be using a few simple tools in Adobe Photoshop to make a more complex and cool looking design. I'm going to be using Adobe Photoshop CS5 in this tutorial, but you could use any version of Photoshop that you want. So this is what the final effect looks like. I don't really have a name for it, so we could just call it the snow triangle effect. Sounds good enough for me. Now let's take a look at the design. The main aspect is this triangle, and we have some clouds over here, and we have the snow dogs or the huskies. Now, as far as the dogs go, I cannot find the picture of them anywhere. I did this design a while back, and then I tried to find everything again, and I googled it and I searched, and I could not find the same image of those dogs. So I won't be able to provide you guys with the link to that in the video description below, but you could use any picture that you want. As long as the picture gives you that cold, kind of snowish mood, then you could use that because it goes really good with the design. Next up is these clouds. I still have the clouds, so I'll provide the link to those in the video description below. And as far as the triangle goes, we're going to be making that in Photoshop. So with that being said, let's get started. Let's click on File, New, and we're going to make a new image with a width of 1920 pixels and a height of 1080 pixels and a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. This is going to be a HD wallpaper. And we're going to press OK, and then we're going to double click on the background layer to unlock it. So just press OK to that. And the first thing we want to do is add this gradient from this dark greenish blue to the light greenish blue. So let me just select these two colors. And then let's head over to our new image, double click on that background layer and click on gradient overlay. We want the angle to be about 45 degrees, and then we're going to click on this gradient. The left side gradient is going to be the darker of the two colors, and the hex code to that is 21393F. The right sided gradient or the right handed gradient is going to be the lighter color, and the hex code to that is 3B585C. And we're just going to press OK to everything else. And this is what our image looks like so far. Next, we want to bring those cloud brushes into use. So we're going to make a new layer. Command-Shift-N if you're on a Mac, Control-Shift-N if you're on Windows. We're going to click on the brush tool, and we're going to select any one of those brushes of the cloud brushes that we want. Now we want a large brush. Now once you have that brush selected, we're going to select the color white, press OK, and then just click once in the middle of the image. And we'll have something like this. Now obviously this is overdoing it. We want the opacity to be about maybe 2 or 3% at most. And that's looking good. Now what we want to do is make the triangle. So to do that, we're going to choose this tool, the polygonal tool. We're going to have sides 3, and then we're just going to click and drag to make the triangle, like that. But we're going to do so in the middle. And then just make any triangle of your desired height. And that's looking pretty good. Now we're just going to click on the pointer tool and drag this into the center. And that looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is just select the paint bucket tool and click on there to rasterize the layer. I just kind of use that as a shortcut instead of going and finding the rasterize. So what I did was click on the paint bucket tool, click in the middle of it, and it's going to ask you to rasterize it. So now that it's rasterized, we could actually use the eraser tool to erase parts of it. With it rasterized, it's kind of locked, so we wouldn't have been able to do that. Now, with the eraser tool, we don't want to choose a boring little circle or whatever. We want to use those cloud brushes more. So we're going to select any cloud brush, and then just kind of use our imagination and start erasing parts of this triangle so it looks like this. So I'm going to get started by making this just a little bit bigger and erasing the tip like so. And that looks pretty good. Now just kind of use your imagination and keep going and erase parts of this triangle until you get your desired effect. Alright, and that's looking pretty good. So now let's take a look at this and the original. So that looks pretty good. Now what we want to do is add these dogs. Since I can't find the image of the dogs anywhere, I'm just going to click and drag them from the original image. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm on that layer and select the pointer tool and just click and drag. Now for you guys, you're just going to want to find any picture of dogs or maybe even polar bears, penguins, anything that resembles or gives off that cold mood. And then just put it right here. You want to put it under the triangle so it kind of blends in a little bit. And that positioning looks pretty good. Alright, that's looking pretty good for the dogs. Now what I'm going to do is duplicate them. So I'm going to right click, duplicate layer, and press OK. And what I want to do is just bring them a little bit more over here, just so you can see the legs of more dogs running. And most of the things that I'm showing you guys in this tutorial is all really just optional. It's all just kind of a big compilation of different things. So it's all up to your imagination, really. Just like put whatever you want anywhere, really. It's like, oh, I want to put some dog legs over here, or I want to add some stars over here. It's just different things like that that really get it to be unique and original. I'm going to make the opacity of this about 25%, maybe even, let's do 15%. And that's looking good. Now what we want to do is add these clouds on top of the dogs. So we're going to select the brush tool, make a new layer, Command Shift N or Control Shift N if you're on a Windows. And we're going to select some brushes. I'm going to make these a little bit smaller. And then just kind of click and hope they look good. What I'm going to do is I want this top cloud, but I don't want the bottom one that's covering the dog. So I'm just going to erase those. And that's looking good so far. And let's just add a few more of these. Alright, and that's looking pretty good so far. So let's compare again. And the last thing we need is I just added this kind of pinkish hue over here. And I added some sparkles of stars and kind of snow, if you will. So let's go back, and what I'm going to do is make a new layer again. And then just kind of add just a couple clicks of this cloud brush here and there. And then I'm going to double click on that layer and click on color overlay. And I'm just going to pick a pink color to add to it. A very light pink color. And the hex code to that is FFDAF8. I'm going to press OK. And then I'm just going to mess around with the positioning of it to see where I would like it to be. I'm probably going to bring the opacity down to about, let's say 30, let's do 50%, and I'm going to erase a lot of it. You just want to kind of have that shadow there, like so you could tell that it's there, but you don't want to really overdo it. You just want to add some color. So I ended up bringing it up to about 75% and erasing most of it. And that's looking pretty good so far. Now after this, you could just kind of use your imagination. As you can see, I added some stars. What I did for that is I just Googled stars and snow, took those pictures and just randomly placed them everywhere. You could really just do a lot of different things with this. Just kind of use your imagination, add whatever else you want to it, and just see what you could come up with. But that's it for this video tutorial. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you guys got a really cool effect in the end. And until next time, I will see you guys later.